Hey guys, I just wanted to hop on here and answer one of the most common questions that I get in the PR Academy and on social media, which is probably one of the most important questions. How do I find journalists that want to cover my story? Um, there are a lot of services out there that you can use to do this, but a lot of them are really expensive. So we at my agency, I have an agency, and we work with really all sorts of clients, film, tech, nonprofits, kind of everything in between. So we use Muckrack, which is basically a service which helps you find journalists, get their contact information, and it aggregates them. You can send out press releases, but that's really expensive. It's like $6,000 a year, right? And that's after I negotiated it. There's some other ones out there that are a little bit cheaper. I think Propel is a little bit better on that price point. Also Cision, but a lot of these services are really expensive, and if you're a small business owner, or if you're a startup that doesn't quite have the money to spend on a press list, or a journalist search database, one of the things that you can do to find journalists, it sounds so simple, and that's because it is. One of the things that you can do is you can find these people on your own. Let's just use the example. I have a student in the PR Academy who is working on the first feature length AI film, which is great. She's won a bunch of awards. She's really accomplished with this film, and she's looking to do PR for her film. And we've been like kicking the release back and forth, and she kind of falls into two buckets, right? She's obviously in the Hollywood media industry, which would be outlets like Deadline, the Hollywood Reporter, but also she has this tech aspect, which is really interesting right now, especially with AI and everything that's going on and developing there. So she kind of has two buckets of journalists. And what I recommended to her, because she doesn't necessarily have the budget right now for a big, either PR firm or a big PR service to find journalists, is it sounds so simple, but basically use Google. So I'm going to share my screen right now. And so if we're using the same example with our fabulous AI film, I literally would search AI film. Go to the news tab. And here I would sort by date. Maybe not. I would go through, this is really a developing topic, and a lot of work is doing in this space. And I would basically make a Google sheet of all of these links that are covering AI films and film technology, and I would find their reporters. So let's use Variety as an example. You go into Variety here and you see that the journalist is Matt Donnelly. I think that this AI company wants to revolutionize how dialogue is redubbed into different languages. This reporter could be a good fit for her, because of the technology aspect of for her film. It is very newsworthy to be the first AI fully generated film. And you might be asking, how do I get in contact with Matt? Okay, when you click to his author page, it's very clear how you get in contact with Matt. Let's click Matt Donnelly. So with Matt, you can get in touch with him on Twitter. This is actually one of the not so great examples, if I could be totally honest, because his DMs are not open. A lot of journalists will have their DMs open because they want to receive pitches. Matt, I don't know if Matt wants to receive pitches, but what I would recommend doing, if I was the producer of the film, I would just comment. And if I had a Twitter account, I'd say, "Hey, Matt, I have a story for you. Can you DM me?" He might respond. He might not respond. Unfortunately, that's PR, is doing a lot of this dirty work and hopefully getting a good response from folks. All right. So most journalists do have their emails and their author bios. or a link to their Twitter or somewhere where you can get in touch with them. And here's another example. This journalist, Patrick Frater, he could be a good fit. He's a journalist at Variety, so more industry media covering AI. You'll see here, Patrick Frater at variety.com. Put that in your Google sheet that you're using to reach out to reporters. And you can also, let's see, no, he also doesn't have his DMs on. Depends on the journalist. But I would send him an email right here. Maybe follow him on Twitter. At least it kind of sparks their interest. And here's another good example. This one's a little bit more in the tech space. This is for AI business news. And you go right here to the author page, Ben Wadecki, right here. You can copy email address and you can just paste that in your Google sheet. Also, they've got a link to his Twitter. His DMs aren't open, so you can't really message him, but you can comment on one of his tweets. Hey, Ben, might have a story for you. Would love to chat. There's a link to his LinkedIn too. You can message him on LinkedIn. There's tons of opportunities here. So here's the truth when it comes to PR and finding these journalists and talking to them. It is a grind. Maybe it's a good thing to put an intern on if you don't have the time for it, but sourcing all of this, finding these journalists, compiling all this information, it does take time. It takes a lot of elbow grease. You're going to have to send a lot of cold pitches, a lot of direct messages, but it can pay off. So that's the easiest way to find journalists if you don't want to pay for one of these big aggregators of big journalist databases. And if you don't want to pay for a PR firm, it's doing the hard work, making that database of reporters for yourself who are in your niche, that cover your niche. And remember, we go over this in the free media guide. You need to reach out to them personally. Yes, it is a pain in the ass. Yes, you do need to send a bunch of personal emails. I'm not going to lie. It is a lot to manage. But that's how you get coverage, is by being persistent, being personal, and sparking their interest. I hope that you found this helpful. Please share it with other folks. Please share the PR Academy with other folks who you think would benefit from it. It is free until August 1st. So it's a great time for people to come in. They'll be a part of the community, and they're part of the community for free forever. And then we're going to raise it probably to, $10 in August. And then it's just going to go up from there. So spread the good news. Appreciate you. And thanks for tuning in.